Hello ladies and gents, I want to talk about FUMA in eFootball PES 2021. So FUMA stands for full manual, meaning there's no assistance. Well, there's a little bit in PES 2021, but I'll touch more on that later. When you first switch to FUMA, it'll feel like it's the best thing since sliced bread. Every goal feels amazing, you'll feel like you've really earned it. Every flowing move will give you like this warm, fuzzy feeling inside, and you'll just think that you're never going back to PA1, and then you'll rave about it to your friends and family and everyone else. So let me just share a bit of my FUMA background. I probably, like many of you, have probably tried and played FUMA many times in previous versions of PES before it was cool in PES 2020 and PES 2021. My longest FUMA stint was in PES 2017, which was a great game, one of my favourites, but it was far too easy, even on Superstar difficulty, which was the hardest at the time. So I switched on FUMA at that time to try and make it more challenging, and it certainly did at first, and I got all those amazing feelings that I just previously mentioned. But after a solid 10 months of playing, I was done with FUMA. It just felt like I was cheating, and I got really bored of it. I abandoned the finesse shots because I soon realised I could just blast past the keeper, who had no chance of saving. Most of my goals looked the same height, the same shot power, and realised I wasn't deliberately aiming for a corner as such, just roughly on target near either post would generally do. And once you get the hang of manual passing, it won't feel much different to PA1 because you'll get really great at it, rarely misplacing a pass. And in 2017, all the passes and shots were in straight lines. There was no curve unless you applied finesse to your shots. But as previously mentioned, finesse is pointless when you can just blast it past the keeper. So in 2017, FUMA was FUMA. There was no assists whatsoever. In 2021, I've noticed that FUMA has small amounts of assistance. You'll see that the ball sometimes curls to your player when passing or crossing the ball, and not as a result of any of your direct input. So it's not like you bend the you're turning the left angle stick to curl the pass. It's literally just doing it for you on its own. So in a way I do kind of like that they do add some curl to the passes, because the straight line passes did feel a little bit laser guided. But it still needs work, and I'll cover the improvements that Konami need to make a little later to improve FUMA. The assistance does add a bug where I've applied 100% power to a lofted pass, wanting to clear it downfield, only for the player or the ball to go short to a player who's just like 10 to 15 yards away. My main issue with FUMA in 2021, and the main reason I don't use it, is the AI. It makes them so incredibly dumb. Even on legend difficulty, when it comes to pathfinding and general awareness, it's like they don't know where the ball is when you play a pass or through ball. I'm not talking just about my opponent's AI either. It happens to your players as well. So when they're receiving the ball, it's like, hey, where did this ball come from? You know, sometimes it takes a split second to get a simple pass under control. You'll probably notice in my Master League, I use PA1, known as Pass Assistance 1, but I also enable manual passes through the use of the manual button, and you'll probably notice a little target assist pops up before I pass the ball, because I know that AI will struggle to deal with it, and it also helps kick the ball into space, which is what you can't do on PA1 with some of your passes. Another thing that bugs me with FUMA is the passing and finishing stats. They're completely ignored. They don't seem to matter. So it doesn't matter if you sign a player with 1 passing or 99 passing. There's literally no difference in passing or shooting accuracy, because it's all determined by your input. I mean, it's full manual, right? But whereas on basic PA1, obviously passing stats are crucial. You know, I wouldn't recommend anyone below 85 for passing this year, because you end up losing the ball fairly frequently, which is, in my opinion, a good thing, because it helps the flow of the game a little bit more, makes it a little bit more realistic, in my opinion. When it comes to the through ball on FUMA, there's 2 settings. There's basic and advanced. You can enable the true manual through ball by holding the manual pass button, which is generally your left bumper or left trigger depending on your control setup. And I find this better because it seems a little less sluggish to use. I find that the advanced through ball takes my player a split second too long to release a pass, often resulting in my player losing the ball or getting tackled. One thing I do notice is that my play style changes significantly with FUMA. I usually play, I find myself playing super safe passes or being very direct on FUMA, and rarely would I try things like this where I'm trying intricate passing to open up my opponent. So whilst FUMA feels amazing when you first use it, you'll soon learn it has a lot of pitfalls as well. I believe that there should be a FUMA tournament for PES 2022 and beyond, but there's a lot of improvements that they need to make before that can happen. They need to fix the pathfinding and player awareness issues first as a high priority. Obviously with PES 2022 being an entirely new engine, this may already be fixed, or it may be a lingering bug. In my opinion, one feature to make FUMA perfect is to add aftertouch. Aftertouch was used widely in video games during the 90s, so aftertouch allows you to curl the ball in any direction by rotating the stick, so your left analog stick, after passing or shooting the ball. This would give you true full control over your passes and shots, and sort of remove this sort of random assistance which is being added where and when the game feels like it needs to. One thing that really bugs me is the elitist mentality around FUMA. Like, if your goal isn't scored with FUMA, it's invalid or you're not good at PES. I mean, this mentality has to stop. Seriously. I was really good in 2017 at FUMA, but never felt the need to brag and tell everyone else they sucked. I'm still fairly decent at FUMA now, as I use a mix of PA1 and manual controls depending on the situation, and that's what I would recommend for all players, as that's where you'll get the most out of it, because it just gives you endless limitations with that mix of PA1 and manual passing, and that for me is where the gameplay is at. Anyway, that is all from me, ladies and gents. It would be great to hear from all of you and your thoughts on FUMA. Are you enjoying it? Have you tried it? What do you think? Are you a FUMA veteran? Perhaps you're a pass assistance player who's fed up of being told they suck by FUMA elites. Perhaps you've been using FUMA this year and you're probably noticing the same sort of bugs that I have already mentioned. Anyway, let me know down in the comments down below, and until next time guys, I look forward to seeing you. Take care of yourselves, be nice to each other, and be good. Take care guys, bye bye.